Now to a Fond du Lac County mother who's working to prevent tragedy years after her son died by suicide. Emily Roberts joining us live in Fond du Lac this morning. Such an important conversation. Emily, you talked with Sue Mitchell-Metz.
Tammy, Sue is becoming a symbol of mental health advocacy in her area after losing Ryan in 2017. When Ryan died, she says she didn't see much support in her community. That's one of the reasons she's now a facilitator for support groups, hoping to normalize conversations around mental health and suicide. One called Survivors of Suicide Loss with the organization National Alliance on Mental Illness. The other for children who lost a loved one with Bo's Heavenly Clubhouse. Her experience helping children with grief is unique, as she remembers explaining Ryan's death to his, at the time, 7-year-old daughter. Sue is already having some success, sparking discussion in her community.
She says, "Oh, I love your fingernails. Are they for suicide awareness?" And just started a whole conversation. So it's just, I try to get that topic out there whenever, wherever I can.
If you or someone you know is struggling, there is a free lifeline to help. Just dial 988 to be connected with support. Tonight on Action 2 News at 6, how Sue is continuing to honor her son Ryan and make her mark on her community. Live in Fond du Lac, Emily Roberts, Action 2 News.